Hello, this is Michael, atheist and alcoholic. I am attending 90 AA meetings, 90 days. Nothing discussed in these videos will ever undermine the anonymity of AA. Day 78, and it's becoming a struggle. When I first started this experiment, work was reasonably slow. That's no longer the case, so it's made it logistically more demanding to manage a meeting a day, even doing the online ones today. My time constraints necessitated a traditional AA meeting, and again, just after a few of the secular ones, which definitely resonate better, it's more and more difficult to handle the traditional AA meetings. I'm not sure what the fuck the topic was. But in the beginning, the third step prayer, and I think it's a daily reading. I found it online, a daily reflection rather. Real independence were both read, and people kind of talked about those. So they're short. I'm gonna read them and go from there. The third step prayer reads, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. I may have even read that one before, but it does kind of tie with the reading daily reflection of real independence. I start with a little willingness to trust God, and he causes that willingness to grow. The more willingness I have, the more trust I gain. And the more trust I gain, the more willingness I have. My dependence on God grows as my trust in him grows. Before I became willing, I depended on myself for all my needs, and I was restricted by my incompleteness. Through my willingness to depend on my higher power, whom I choose to call God, all my needs are provided for by someone who knows me better than I know myself. Some inflection where words are capitalized. Even the needs I may not realize, as well as the ones yet to come. Only someone who knows me that well could bring me to be myself and to help me fill the need in someone else that only I am meant to fill. There never will be another exactly like me, and that is real independence. That is not real into Jesus fucking Christ. It's unique. I mean, everything in that paragraph is the opposite of independence, but okay. So, in the meetings and in various parts of the big book where it addresses these issues, the general thought that's expressed is that sure, you struggle, but if expect like as an agnostic or an atheist, but if you can just let go and let God, everything will be okay. You can define God any way you want, even though we keep coming back to a very Christian definition of God. You can define him any way you want, at least for now, until you find the God we're talking about. It's almost a equal parts compassionate and condescending approach of you're just mistaken. You haven't found our God yet. And this is left field, but they keep talking about the higher power. Like almost every fucking share is just how the higher power has helped them in their lives. And they're making the assertion that this God is both all powerful and all loving. And if it's an example I've used before. It's a good one to use if you're an atheist to make the argument against God. But if bone cancer in children exists, God cannot be all loving and all powerful, because either if he's all powerful, he hates that fucking kid, or he wouldn't have given it bone cancer. So he's not all loving. And if he is all loving, then he's not all powerful, or that kid wouldn't have fucking bone cancer. So, and beyond that, like, if they really believe that God has intervened in their lives in such a way to make this one small change that dictated circumstances such that they stayed sober that day, like, what was God doing about all the kids who are literally starving to death? Like, I don't. And I go back and forth on whether or not, if one does believe in a creative force, if that surrender to that creative force, God, whatever, has utility. That if they're able to let go of the struggle of their addiction and just believe that it's going to be taken care of, and I guess by a placebo effect it is, they're just not struggling so much, so they're able to focus on just staying sober, and somehow it works, if that's beneficial. Or if no, a lot of these people just aren't doing the things in their lives that they need to do in order to make their lives better, by waiting for some higher power to fucking fix it for them. I don't know, because there are, again, as I mentioned many times, there's people in these meetings with decades of sobriety under their belt. I have no reason not to take them at their word, even if some of them are lying. It's improbable that all of them are. So apparently this is working for those people, but I can't with it. So extremely unhelpful video. That's all I have for today, though. I will, tomorrow work shouldn't be so heavy, not as much driving, especially driving through areas where I don't always keep service, which further constrains the time I can do a meeting. So I will try to do a secular meeting tomorrow and have a more positive video. So thank you guys very much. That's all I have for tonight. Goodbye.